Give me a second. Let me adjust all the screen proper so that I can get it up. Okay. Sorry for the delay, so just because I just want to do some setting to the screen so that I can actually see all the message here and there so I can answer some of the questions later on. Of course, today beside myself, you guys can see me, right? So Johannes, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, can see. Clear.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Yep, today I just want to focus a little bit more. Today I'm going to share a little bit about the resale market because I guess some of the people out there will be looking at resale market. So the question is, what are the things that you should be looking out for? How do you determine whether should I be getting a resale or new sales properties out there? So tonight I'll be covering this. Just a disclaimer for myself, of course, at the end of the day, whatever I've shared here, everything there's a risk. So in case you have any questions or anything, please make sure that you've done all your due diligence before you actually take action eventually. So whatever the information that we have gotten from all this research that I've done, right, is actually through URA as well. So whatever statistics you can see is all through the data because all these things can be actually churned out from the system. So tonight, I just want to prepare all this information for every one of you to hear me. And tonight, for all of us to really learn and to really have a better understanding, right? I really hope that some of the questions that I would like to ask you later, you can also join me and participate with me so that we can keep this whole exercise to be more active so that we can all learn and share together as much as I can. So without much further, let's get further. So today what I'm going to cover here is that how is the so-called impact with the resale market, especially with the new cooling measure in place? So will the price drop in the resale market? Of course, I'm not so sure what will you think about the resale market. And now because the price gap between the new launch and the resale now is about 58%. So the question is, how do I determine which one is a better choice? What is the right move? And the last thing here is that, right, is the new launches already too high now? And lastly, I want to touch on before I end the session here is really talking about how do we determine the right entry price? How do we determine the exit as well? Because at the end of the day, remember one thing, we know how to buy a property, but we also must understand how do we look at exit as well. So tonight I'll be covering all these different segments. I hope I will do my very best to really share with you. And after that, of course, I have my another partners, which is Sergius, will be even sharing with you a deeper in understanding about the market regarding, let's say, for example, if you're comparing between integrated development versus a normal condo, what are the things that you can look out for? This is something that he'll be covering as well. So the question is, what is the real impact in the resale market with the cooling measure in place? Let's see further, right? So if you look at it, generally, based on the research that we are actually looking at, right, we are very clear to say that, right, generally last year, almost Singaporean and SPR actually make up of almost 95% in terms of the purchase. This year alone is about 92.5%, which is also the reason why the government came out with a cooling measure to stop the foreigners from coming in, right? It's because they recognize that the numbers are increasing to make sure that the price is kept affordable. And that's the reason why they have to come up with this measure to stop the foreigners from coming. But if you see recently, again, there are foreigners who don't mind to pay 60%. One of my agents was sharing with me that the customer buy a 1.7 million, eventually cough out $1 million to buy that property. I guess the biggest winner eventually will still be our government because just collect stamp duty alone will be a very big sum of money. Can you imagine $1.7 million and you eventually get back $1 million in stamp duty, right? It's actually quite scary. But why people choose to buy eventually still? Because I guess a lot of time when we think about expenses, right, we always worried about, hey, this is my cost. But actually someone who wants to buy a freehold property, long term, keeping it for the next 20 years after fully paid, actually the asset belong to the owners already. Whatever ABSD he's actually paying, right, in long term, the appreciation chances of the property plus rental return, basically all these things are already covered. So to them, they are seeing as a long term. So everybody has different objective when it comes to buying a property. But just for Singaporeans take here in the sense that which is something good, if too fast foreigners are coming, it may also push up the price as well. So this may cause a concern to many people. I mean, ultimately, the government what to do here is to make sure that the properties are stable. They are always very clear one. They are not here to crash the market. They are here to make sure that the property are sustainable in the long run. And that is something that is crucial for many people out there. So if you look at the history, actually, I asked myself this question. I say, how I wish I actually bought something over here as a Singaporean and pay ABSD. I can tell you, if you were to buy a property in 2013 paying 7%, right? Today you are making a very good profit. Even those people who are paying 12% stamp duty, I can tell you, today they make more than the 12%. Again, today we are talking about 20% now. So the question is, will we be making, you look at the journey here from 7 to 12 to 17 to 20, right? I'm going to show you something, right? You'll be shocked, right? You'll be shocked that eventually people who pay for the stamp duty, right, actually eventually still have certain good returns. If you look at this particular chart, right, this is something I want to show you. This is the introduction of the ABSD, the first one. And that price was about 1165 per square. This is the overall average per square foot for a non-landed new sales and even a private resale as well. So we combine it to create an average price at that point of time. Based on that December 2011 cooling measure, that point of time was actually 1165. Subsequently, 2013, it came out with a 7% ABSE. So these people who buy, paying ABSE, did they lose out? Actually, if they were to keep, still not so bad. The next one actually went up to 1519. Next one actually went up to 17. If he were to choose to keep it for the last 10 years, based on the price of 2163 per square foot, 2163 per square foot versus 1335, right? Easily, over here got $700 per square foot. If based on $700 per square foot, right? If you really multiply by 1,000 square feet, actually almost about 700,000 profit already. So whether has it covered the so-called ABSC at this point of time, 7%, you all will know that this amount already covered in the last 10 years. That's why sometimes we talk about ABSC, how you always wish one thing, how I wish I bought the property, right? 10 years ago, I only pay 7%. Today, I still own another asset, without even need to sell because the property already appreciate. Down the road, again, we'll have another problem. But we cannot look back because at the end of the day, we can only say one thing here is that, right, how the market keep moving forward. Eventually, with the ABSE, the price did not come down. In fact, with the ABSE, the price keep moving upwards some more. Why? Because in fact, a lot of PR today are stepping in to buy property. Why? Because today PR only required to pay 5%. They cannot imagine later the government say must pay 10%. So a lot of PR, in fact, decided to buy property. We initially not so kanchong, but now become more aggressive because why? They also worry, what if the government change their ruling and say from 5% to 10%? They also got to come out the 10%, right? So a lot of customers today also think that better take action. If not later on, got to pay more, man, right? But you see, but why is it Singapore still continue to move upwards? And with the latest cooling measure, right, will it actually cause the prices to drop? That's a big question here. But you know that, right? Property is all about supply and demand. Whether a price go up or down, right? It's really purely because of supply and demand and how it works here. So if you look at today, why is it that the price are not coming down? One of the key reasons is because as a resale owner, you only have one property. As a developer, you have many units. Who has a better holding power? Definitely the resale owner. When the resale owner has a strong holding power, what they do here is that since I cannot do anything, I will hold until I get a better price, then I sell. But as a developer, it's totally different. Why? Because a developer has no choice because he has more units, right? They don't have the upper hand. But resale owner always have the upper hand today because why? They only have one unit to sell. And with all the cooling measure in place, this is the last one, 2021 December, right? With the additional ABSD, that time already create a problem. Why? That time I was talking to the people, those who attended my seminar. I said this particular cooling measure will not stop the price from moving forward. Why? Because it will only stop people from selling. Because property owners with multiple properties out there, they would not want to sell their property because why? They rather hold on to the property because I sell already, I cannot buy back anymore. So eventually what will happen? It creates the supply to drop. When the supply dropped, there's a demand. What happened? Prices went up, right? And now with the latest cooling measure changed to 20%. Now a lot of Singaporeans will say, multiple owners will say what? I better don't sell, I gotta pay 20%. I better keep the property for long. Anyway, the rental is so high, why do I need to sell? So you again, right, what does it mean? Again, this causes the supply to what? Reduce. So when the supply reduce, demand is there, prices will hold. And because the seller, just like I mentioned to you, right, who has a strong holding power? The resale owner. When the resale owner has a strong holding power, what happens? They will hold on to the price. As a result, what happened? I want to buy, but there's no seller. Price eventually still have to what? Slowly inch upward eventually here. But all these things, eventually, you will start to realize that, right? Eventually bopian, because why? There's no supply in the market, right? Like you see, the replacement cost is so high now. Sell at a price that will cover my 15 months first before I talk about selling. This is the last cooling measure in last year, November, right? Because why? With this cooling measure, I say this is to really target all those private owner to downgrade to HDB big units, right? In order to sell at the right price, the only way is to cover my 15 months. But if those people say, if you cannot give me a 15 months, then I rather wait for the price to come out. I wait for the cooling measure to change, wait for the 15 months to wait out period to be removed away before I decide what to sell. You see, all this, what happened? All this create a supply in terms of reduction, right? Why I can actually talk about this, not because I understand, it's because it's all about thinking process, the human thinking process. In fact, you see, this is exactly what they're saying. The replacement cost is high. Exactly. Why is there a supply shortage? Mainly because in terms of the replacement cost is so high, nobody want to sell. That's why they find that, if I want to sell, I got to buy something more expensive, right? Well, I want to do so. That's why a lot of people decided to hold. So when people decide to hold, supply dropped. Demand went up, price went up. So this is the main issue here. And exactly, you look at the resale volume, has it been dropping? It has been dropping. Last year, 2021 versus last year. Why? Not because the market is no good. Market is definitely, in terms of interest rate, cooling measure, all this will have an effect, right? But the main thing here is also because the number of owners out there who wants to sell are reduced. And you see, with the interest rate increase, with the replacement cost so high, and if they want to buy something that is more expensive today, they will have a lot of fear. When all this come into the place, it creates a reduction in supply, but there's a strong demand. That's why the prices move upward. And that's the reason why the government came out all the cooling measure, right? Objective is to what? Is to slow down the price from moving upwards, right? But of course, when all these things happen, is it an opportunity for many people here? And that is where you later on will see some of my research, right? Then you decide what is the best option for you guys to see whether you want to take action or not. And if you look at the rental market, exactly, people who have multiple properties like myself, why do I want to sell? I rather hold on to it. You see, look at the rental market has been going upwards. Why do I need to sell? Even though the interest rate has increased for those people who owns property now, you know that how much is your rental that you're getting. You know very well. And with the rental increase, can it easily cover your mortgage? Even it doesn't cover your mortgage, it easily cover your interest. And anything extra is always go into your principal reduction. So that's the reason why a lot of people out there, right, are not selling their asset now, mainly because of this particular reason as well. And the next thing here is that en bloc. The en bloc are also deadlocked. Developer is just like buyer. The market is not confident enough. Will they buy property? They also won't buy. All this become reduction in terms of what? Supply. But there's a demand, supply not there. Again, this is another problem here, right? That's why you can see this is the en bloc transaction. You look at the past 2017, 18, look at here, look at the en bloc numbers. But I can tell you, every time the en bloc number go up, the next thing goes up is one. Just like here, 2016, anyone who buy property in 2016, you will see that the price go up this way. Really, if you go back and check, later I will show you also. That's why when the you see today, why is it the M block are not strong? Mainly because the demand is not strong. That's why developers are holding back. But when developers are holding back, there's not enough supply. What will happen? They will go to the existing market to get. So again, eventually, when the developers have sold most of the unit, eventually they need to buy. So when they need to buy, it will create what? Again, the supply out. So now because of the cooling measure, with the interest rate, plus all the supply is not there, right? As a result, what happened? A lot of people are holding back, but also it also create an what? An opportunity, which I'm going to share with you in a short while. Now, I think a lot of people are also wanted to find out which is a better option. Should I be buying new sales or should I be buying resale? I'm going to talk a little bit more about the resale market today. So if you look at today, looking at this price tag, you look at the new launch is $2,500 over dollar per square foot. The resale market is $1,600 plus per square foot. Can I ask every one of you, if you look at this chart now, which one will you want to buy? Resale or new sale? Can you type RE or NL inside the chat group? Can I ask every one of you here, which one will you actually buy? Oh, resale, right? Good, right? Most of you will say what? Resale. Is it wrong to think in that way? Definitely not. Because why? Looking at the pricing, you will know the answer, right? It's a resale. Thank you so much for those people who have replied me as well. Thank you so much for your participation. Like I just now mentioned, right? I really hope that you guys can also participate with me, because why? That is the only way we can actually stay connected, plus making you feel awake as well, right? That's the whole idea here. But there's also something, because sometimes when you key in, right, you see how people react to the answer as well, right? So most people will definitely look at this buying resale property, which is very normal. But the question is, how do we determine the resale market now? Now, if you look at this Commonwealth Tower, now the price is going at about 2059. This is the last transaction on average price. If you look at this from here all the way to here, will you consider to buy at such price tag? How many of you will buy today at this kind of price tag? $2,001 per square foot, 2001. How many of you will buy? This is resale now. No, scared. No. Just now you all say you want to buy resale, right? Some of you say, right? Someone will say yes, someone will say no, right? So of course, a lot of people will think, hey, if I buy today, seems like the one of the highest point here. No. So what happened if those people who buy here? Well, then what happened? Would they sell, and then later on, right, at a lower price, will I lose money or not? Some of the people will be thinking this way, right? So now next, look at this one. If you look at this development, Caspian. So is this a better buy? Will you buy this development now? It's going at 1,003 plus per square foot. Will you buy? How many of you will buy this one? Can I see whether you will buy yes or no? Yes. No, yes, no. Some will say maybe, some will say yes, some will say no, right? Of course, if you look at this development, it seems to be very stable. Why? It seems to be from here all the way to here is like maybe $10 per square foot differences, which means, is it safe to buy? Is it safe to buy? It is 100% very safe to buy. 100% safe, 100%. But ask yourself this question. Why is it the last 10 years is like that? Is there a growth? Is it stable enough? It is very safe. It will not have high or low one. The so-called blood pressure is almost like one straight line. It's just like no pulse, that kind of feeling, right? So yes, in terms of numbers, it is actually very safe. But if you're looking at whether can I have a chance to make profit or not, that may be a question mark to you. Because why? The last 10 years, it seems like having an issue of moving forward. So will you want to buy something in this kind of manner? Again, you need to think, why am I talking about all this thing now? So if you guys wanted to buy a property today, you have to ask yourself this question. If I saw this, oh, better buy, because why? You know what? All the new launch market is already $2,000 per square foot. I'm buying at 1,003 per square foot. How much can I lose? Yes, exactly. You will not lose. But it's just that you don't see much gain. That's all lah. That's the only problem that I see here. Because why? The last 10 years has what? Shown you what? Shown you is like almost dead property. Jesse said that dead property. I cannot say dead lah. I can only say it's safe lah. Stable lah. Stable lah. Use the word called stable. Right? If you want something that is really buy for own stay and do not need to worry about up and down, please go ahead and buy such kind of development. Because why? It is stable. But of course, if you look at this development just now we talk about here is one straight line. Of course, good and bad as well. Why? Because good in the sense that you can see that the price are still moving forward. Bad in the sense that, right, it seems that it's one of the highest peak also. From here all the way to what? From all the way from here, $1,600 to $2,000 is almost like $400 per square foot jump already. So the question is it stable or not? Is it stable or not? Then of course you need to decide whether yes or no. But can you still buy? Definitely, because why? Because if you look at long term, if you are not worried so much, if you want to buy for own stay, then you should buy because there is something that you want to stay. But if people who wants to buy a property that has, can you imagine that you are this owner who buy at 1,600? I believe many of you would want to buy this property at 1,600, right? And make the profit of 400, right? Am I right to say, everybody? I'm very sure that you will want to be here, right? You want to be here. You want to be here. You want to be here. You don't want to be here for sure, right? So that's the reason why you need to understand here is how do I determine what is the right price tag to look at in terms of that? If you look at J Gateway, same thing, no? It has gone up, came down, now it has went up. Now it's almost the peak of the last round already. So is it something stable? If you look at here, total 738 units. Total 738 units. And how many of them who have bought this kind of prices? A lot. And the lowest price they bought is 1,200 plus. Can you imagine those people, do they need to sell at this price to make profit? They just sell at 1,700, they already make $500 per square foot. So if you really want to buy something for own stay, please proceed to buy what you want because that is something your needs. But if people who wants to buy for investment, wants to make some profit eventually, then you ask yourself this question, should I be buying over here, which is the start point, right? Or do you want to buy at the end point? This is your choice already now. Especially if you look at today, a lot of resale property has gone up to the peak already. Really, if you really see, yes, between the gap between new and resale, there's a gap. But this is normal because every time between new sales and resale, right, there is always a gap one. It's normal. But just that today, the new sales has gone up quite a fair bit. But today, I say, if Kelvin, you tell me, then how should I buy resale to make profit? Yes, if you can buy something like, for example, around this price, maybe it's good. 1,600, maybe it's good. At least you are buying below what has been last done, then at least you feel safer, right? That's the only thing I can share with you here. So, if you look at this, let me show you, because I write until so messy, right? This is what happened. You see, look at the profit margin they make. So, definitely you want to be here to make the profit. Over here is a question mark because anyone who buy here, they need to sell at how much? Any one of you here, if you buy today at 1,009 plus per square foot, how much do you need to sell in the long run? How much do you need to sell? Can you type inside the chat group? 2,003, right? Thank you so much, right? You need to sell 2,003. But if you want to sell 2,003, this guy who bought at 1,005, they just need to sell at 1,009. Actually, they already make profit. But you want to sell at 2,003, right? What is the problem? Unless the 738 units or maybe the balance 500 units haven't sell one, right? Agreed to sell you at this price, then the price will go to 2,003. But if everybody start to still monitor at this kind of price tag, right? Then what will happen? You will be stuck there at this point. So this is something that you need to take note of, right? When you decide whether to buy or not. But if you really want to buy something for your own stay, then just go in and don't think too much already because it's a need, right? So, like for example, this chart will tell you the resale price average is RCR, for example, is 16, OCR is 13, CCR is 2002. This is talking about the average price based on this quarter. So if you want to buy a resale property for your own stay, of course, this is a guiding price overall in the whole of a region of CCR, for example, right? If you can buy something lower or maybe around this price range, you feel at least you are buying the normal price, so-called average price. So if you are talking about buying something at, like for example, RCR at maybe $2,000 for the resale market, maybe you will feel it's a little bit on the higher side. So if you can buy within the range, of course, this may also encounter age pro because we are taking age of different group. You know, some are younger ones, some are older ones to do an average. So it may not be a dollar to dollar comparison, but this is just a guide for you to see something in terms of the pricing. That's all. But if you look at the overall resale market, eventually will still be what? It will still be an upturn. Just that today the resale market has a little bit on the upside already in today's market. It has gone up quite a fair bit, just for your information, right? So it's just that you need to think carefully, how do you determine whether to buy a resale or not? It depends on your needs. Very important here, right? So now if you look at the resale again, I just want to show you this. This is a very important chart that all of you must take note if you really want to buy a resale property. If you want to buy resale property, I will still tell you this is a good time for you to buy still. If you really want to buy for own stay. Why do I say so? First, if you look at all the volume, this is all the volume that is low one. Every time when the volume is low, right, you can see that the price went up one. And I'm very sure that this year, again, the volume will be lower. So every time when the volume is low, right, like here, all these are opportunity. Why do I say so? You see, every time when the market is not as stable or as good, right, people will tend not to buy property because why? They feel that the market is unsafe. Like today, most people will say, Kelvin, this is not the best time to buy property because why? Interest rate increase, cooling measure, wait for the price to drop. Just like during COVID, luckily those people who listen to me in my seminar in the COVID, right, today all making profit. Because why? Because I told them how to look at numbers. I told them eventually here is what? When everybody's scared to buy property, this is the best time that you should be looking at property. When everybody start to rush in to buy property, then you probably open your eyes to see better. Same thing, you look at all this, how you wish those people who bought property in this period, right? Any one of you here today who actually bought property in this year, I can tell you, you are easily sitting on a very good profit now. You are very sure. Why? Because the price that you enter is definitely lower today. So that's the reason why, my friend, if you really want to buy something here, now the volume is low, for sure one, because of the cooling measure, because of the interest rate. All these will stop you from moving forward. But if you dare to move forward, you are always the first mover to make advantage here. That's what I can share with you. So if you really want to buy resale property, let me actually just share with you the advantage. Of course, first and foremost, you can easily move in. You can, for those people who want to buy for rental investment, you can collect rental. Size is good enough. Per square foot is lower. This is the advantage. But the disadvantage is what? Yes, the per square foot, although it's lower, but please look at this. That's why if you want to talk to my agents here, ask them to share with you today here because they have a tools to tell you exactly the resale property that you are buying, right? Is it at the peak? Because why? We have something called the investment suites. This investment suite, right, can easily tell you guys here whether the price that you are buying, right, is it on the peak side or is it stagnant side? My agents can use these tools to help you to so-called analyze the one that you are buying, because why? We are using technology to within fingertip, right, to show you how it works in terms of number, right? Of course, the other thing here is also older, and for those people who buy for own stay, right, you need to spend a lot more money to what? Renovate. That's the reason why you see some people today will choose to buy a brand new development. Why? Because they want to save on the renovation cost. They do not want to pump in 100 to 200,000 to do renovation. Why? Because if they do renovation, the cost will go in because these are sunken costs. Because renovation, you cannot get back unless the price go up, right? Because you are using your real dollar. But if you are buying a new sales, Everything is done for you. That's why people will still don't mind to buy new sales, right? At a higher price. Why? Because they want something that is new and they don't want to spend money on renovation here. So this is the reason why people choose to buy new, even though they don't mind to pay additional amount in the sub-sale market as well, or the resale market for a brand new so-called, because for new sales, normally after 3-4 years, even before TOP, they already start selling. So these people will still choose to buy this unit. Why? Because they want to buy something that is newer. That's what most people will think of, right? Just a little bit of introduction about myself, because some of you may know me, may not know me as well. I'm in business for the last 20 years. I also have done a lot of investment myself because I truly believe in assets. For those who knows me, right, I always educate people in terms of how do you build your capital through assets. For me, I never believe in investment. I always believe in building up your retirement home, building up your net worth, building up your capital. So this is something that I always like to pitch. And of course, today I'm the executive director. I'm leading a company. I'm also leading more than close to 12,000 agents now. So of course, that gives me the advantage, right, to really share with you more in terms of my skill set. Like for myself, do I really start from a HDB? I also, like normal people out there, I started from a HDB as well. But why am I telling you this? Because I want to tell people here is that, like me, right? Why I buy a resale HDB? Because I told my wife I don't have the money to renovate at that point of time. That was 20 years ago. But this HDB definitely changed my life, because from this HDB, I get to know what is called the real estate market. So that's where I started to become a real estate agent. Because I become a real estate agent, right, I get to learn so many things from those gurus out there, right? And this guru teach me how to invest in property. I invest in residential property, commercial properties. I like all this because why? And I'm still holding on to this property. You will be thinking, how come I can still hold so many property? Exactly, I'm not going to sell my property now, because if I sell, I'm going to pay ABSD, right? So and because some of these are really something that I truly believe that I just want to keep for long term, right? And these are some of my assets which I'm now staying in my landed property. I bought my landed property in the COVID period, 2020, where a lot of people say, Kelvin, you buy that time at that price very high. In fact, what I buy that time was high, but today was even much higher. And luckily, I make decision at that point of time where most people did not make decision. But I definitely make much more profit in this landed house. This is what I always truly believe here, in a sense, right? So the question is, how do we really determine here? Just like this, right? I bought this Martin Modern for my wife, also under my wife's name. We bought only at $2,000. That was 99 years. People say, Kelvin, you know, Orchard areas are all freehold. Why do you want to buy 99? Because I look at entry price, my friend. Please key in the chat. Everybody help me. Tell everybody, look at entry what? Entry price. Entry price, very important. Entry price, right? Please tell everybody entry price. Because why? When the entry price is right, you can easily determine what? Your exit as well. Can you type in the chat group? Exit, right? First, remember, entry price is important. Next, exit is also important. If you can understand entry and exit, you will know whether what to buy and when to exit. And that is something that you need to take note of. That's why I'm also interviewed by the press as well. This is someone who actually attended my training in the past, because I teach webinar, I teach a consumer as well. In fact, I just completed 2 days workshop for all the homeowners out there in Suntec City. We have close to 800 people who have actually came for the workshop, in a sense, right? So our next workshop is actually in, if I'm not wrong, it's in September. For those people who really want to learn from us, 2 days, spend your time with us. Check out with your agents here. They will tell you how to register for this 2 days workshop. You will spend 2 days with me. I'm going to teach you how to build these so-called assets that you wanted to. Don't think that you can't, right? I want to tell every one of you here, because I want you to know one thing. Don't underestimate what you can do. But if you don't learn, you will never be able to do it. I've met people who are there in the workshop, tells me, Kelvin, you know, how I wish I have know you, how I can do so much thing I didn't know. So that's the reason why I hope that all of you, if you want to learn more, please join me here. So I always believe one thing. In my book, I always talk about timing, financing, strategy, 3 very important things that we really must know. So the question here is, how do we determine the right timing? So if you look at this, to me, I see this as an opportunity now, in my opinion. So why do I see opportunities in today's market? Why? First, let me show you. How do I look at it? How about new launch? Is that an opportunity? I want to tell all of you here. Not that I'm trying to tell you what to buy. No, I'm trying to let you understand. This time round, we are back to this 2018, 2019. For those people who has not bought anything, I want to tell you, the window is open now. Not because I'm asking you to buy, because I want to tell you by showing you facts and figure. Because I'm in the business for the last 20 years, I've done enough research. I've seen how many cycle of the real estate. I know that today, with the government introducing, just now I show you, right? In fact, all the cooling measure, all the ABSD measure, not only actually what? Stop the price from, not actually pulling down the price. In fact, it is pulling up the price. And today, because of interest rate, because of cooling measure, that's the reason why today I tell you, we are back. The window is actually open, right? Why do I say so, right? That's why you must be the first mover. How do we determine the first mover advantage? Just I mentioned to you, right? Resale owner versus developer, right? Who has the holding power? Who has the less holding power? Developer got 500 unit. They quite today must be more reasonable in their pricing. But you know lah, when market is so hot that time, right? Will developer give you chance? No. But I can tell you lah, people like to buy when everybody chiong one. People like to buy, right? When people rushing. That's why I buy property not because of emotion one. I buy property based on logical facts. I will not be emotion. Like now people will say, Kelvin, this is not the best time to buy because cooling measure, because interest rate. But I tell you, when everybody say that, your eyes must be open. When everybody say, what is a good time to buy? Then you better close your eyes and see properly. Don't see too fast because you will make wrong decision in a sense, right? So you look at 2018. July 2018, that was the cooling measure. Like at that point of time, it was announced at about probably 5 p.m. Wow, kanchong already. Everybody do what? Rush to what? To the show flat. Look at this development, Florence. Actually, during the launch, you will be surprised. This one was the high interest rate time, high interest rate. At that point of time, the interest rate high was about 3.2%. The number of units sold for Florence was only 54 units out of 1,004. This is scary. A lot of people will say crazy. This is not the best time to buy, they buy. They only sold 3.8%. But today, they all fully sold out. But you look at it. Same thing for CDL. Only sold 150 out of 240 units. But a lot of people say, Kelvin, these people crazy. They should wait for the price to drop. But if you look at this, Whistler Grange, they bought at 1,002 plus per square foot. A lot of people say they are stupid, but today they are not. You see the price? 1,008, 1,009 per square foot. So who is the cleverer one? The clever one will be the one who dare to take action when people dare not. And they even have sub-sale it, no? Sub-sale means haven't even TOP, they already sold the property, some of them, right? So can you imagine? They actually make profit based on this. How you wish you actually follow them as well, right? Look at this. This is the Whistler Grange as well, right? They bought, and when the interest rate was high, they also made the profit. Look at Florence, just as I mentioned to you. This was exactly the time they bought, the 54 units. Those people who bought 1,002, 1,003 per square foot. Look at this price. The developer actually increased the price to 1,008, 1,009. So eventually these people who are the first mover, right? Can you type in the chat group, first mover. These first mover people, what happened? Today they can easily sell at this price. They can easily sell. Because why? The price has already reached there, right? Look at this. These are the Florence owner. They bought at how much? You see the price they bought? You see the price they sold? These are the ones that are the first mover who choose to take action. In fact, this is just average 300, some of them even higher in terms of profit as well. But why am I sharing this? It's because I want you to know one thing. Like Sterling, this was also 5th July 2018. Same thing. This was the day when the announcement was made. For those people who remember, everybody was chonging to the show flat. Everybody rushed there to book the unit. But a lot of people at that point of time commended this group of people. They should wait. They should wait for the price to drop. But you see today, the price of today, they bought this kind of price. Do you see? This is the price they sold. So I can only say one thing based on the way I invest in property all this while, right? I always look at opportunities. Opportunities. When the window is open, you must really seize opportunity. If you don't seize opportunity, you are wasting opportunities. Really. That's what I can tell you. You look at the profit margin, those people who make 300,000-400,000. You ask yourself, if you bought at 2019 until 23, only how many years? 4 years, my friend. 4 years, making $400,000 here. Ask yourself this question: by working so hard, can you be richer? No, it's not easy lah. Not that you cannot, unless you really earn a higher income. But it's really not as easy. That's the reason why I want to tell every one of you here: you need to use your income to help you to actually grow your asset. I always truly believe here is what? As long as we are not speculating, work out the proper financial. Our agents can work out something called the risk assessment management system with you. Work out and show you exactly right how you can actually do the right thing. But important, you need to understand how to determine the right entry price, which is how you can look at the information here. Look at this. This is something that at Key Residences, these are the one bought in 2020, 2020, right? This is during COVID period, 1,006, 1,007. Can you see now today how much is the price now? From here to here, you see, those people who choose to take here, what happened? Today, easily they can look at this price already. That's how it works. But these are the people who dare to what? Take action. Where people dare not. They dare to take risks. They dare to go out. But what about you? But a lot of people say, Kelvin, high risk, high risk. As long as you are not speculating. I have made a mistake in 2008, 2008. That was the Lehman crisis. I saw how the prices dropped. I was so afraid. But because I'm looking at investment, I want to make profit. That's why I create fear. But for me, I want to tell all of you here, it's not about just making profit. To me, nobody can tell you whether which one you can make profit. I really believe that no one can tell you. But at least we are moving somehow, right? Moving your asset, moving forward. Because at least you're holding on to an asset. Let it slowly move upwards. Let it slowly move. Eventually, will it go up? Yes. But at least you're holding on to it. You know, like for those people who have not bought the properties, or those who already owns properties, you just look at 4 years ago, a 3-bedroom in the mass market will cost you maybe 1.5 million. Today, just only 4 years, a mass market property 3-bedroom will cost you easily 1.9 to $2 million. Only how many years the price has gone up? So can you imagine, the longer we delay, right? Actually, in fact, we actually are priced out of the market. And that's the reason why I only want to tell people here is that do not be priced out of the market. Go into the market. As long as you're not speculating, work out your proper financial. I'm very sure that many of you can easily do all these things if you have worked out your sum. Just speak to any of our Promex people who invited you. They may give you more solution towards this. This is exactly, I was also there because I bought a property under my daughter's name in this riverfront. I was there to queue up as well. I was there to make decision as well. It was so crazy, right? But why did I do that? Because I know that opportunity, if I don't go in, I got to pay stamp duty extra. I better go in and buy. And eventually, I already sold the property away already. So this is how it works here. So I only want to tell you here, today there's a cooling measure, high interest rate, but there is also an opportunity for many people out there for you to really what? Look at it. Now, the biggest question here is that a lot of people are struggling now. They say that, wow, Kelvin, there are so many new launches, I know, but the prices are also very high now. How many of you feel that the new launches are very high one? If you say high, please say yes inside the chat group. Type in the word yes. Yes. Very high. Some of you say, exactly. But I can tell you, this cycle will never end one, For for those people, right? If those people who remember the Florence, just now I mentioned, at point of time, right? People say, Kelvin, Florence 1,004, Hougang is very expensive. Hougang is very expensive, 1,004. But today, Hougang is at $1,009, $2,000. That is the answer. Today, Yishun, North Park Residences, Yishun, North Park. How many of you can tell me how much is the price per square foot they sold now, recently? Anybody can make a guess how much they sold? It's a resale property in Yishun. Wow. Has hit $1,009 over dollar per square foot for Yishun, my friend. So if you think that the new launch price is high, right? Well, I tell you the resale also not cheap lah. That's what I can tell you lah, right? Of course, how do I know whether is it still high or not? Is it worth to buy or not? If you look at this, you look at all the cooling measure. These are the green color cooling measure here and there. ABSD height, introduction of ABSD. Look at the financial crisis. Look at the COVID. If you look at this whole thing, how you wish you have bought something this way already. How you have wished that you have bought something here. Despite all the cooling measure, despite all the financial crisis, despite all the interest rate or whatever issue lah, COVID lah. But eventually, you see, those who enter during COVID, today they are making profit again. Why is it that the market is still so-called resilient? Why is it prices are not coming down? Because today is different from the market in 2008. 2008 is global financial crisis, and because there is no cooling measure at that point of time, uncle, auntie, anybody 21 years old can buy property already. And that is the reason why eventually what happened? When the market crashed, everybody anyhow throw. But today is different. Today, anyone who wants to buy property, they must have the holding power. They must qualify for the loan. If not, they cannot even afford to buy. Plus, just like I mentioned to you, a lot of owners don't even want to sell their property because why? If they sell, they cannot buy back. The replacement cost is high. So can you imagine? You see, that's the reason why the prices are holding and are moving forward. Exactly, this is how the market moves. Just like William said, but now the cooling measure is just introduced. Exactly, right? So that's why I say, who has the holding power? One is the resale owner who has only one unit. But a developer got this number of units. So what is the problem now? I have to sell cheap lah. But you just now saw, right? Just now I show you, right? The Florence, right? Those who buy at that point of time when the interest rate was high, 2019 plus cooling measure, right? They bought only how much? 1,002, 1,003. Subsequently, how much developers sold? They sold it for 1,008, 1,009. So can you imagine? If you bought at 1,003 per square foot today, are you making profit? But a lot of people say, Kelvin, let's wait. But you see, eventually people will still pay 1,009 or not? Still pay. But can you imagine you're the first mover? That's why you guys are you should be here to listen to me today. Because why? If you can understand how market works, right? You will easily know how you can take advantage of the situation in today's market here already. You should already know, right? So if you look at this, I just want to show you, every time a low, always higher than the previous low. Every time a high, always higher than the previous high one. Why? How you wish that you keep moving forward. Eventually today you really make the profit. You cannot run. Why? Because of the cost of the land. You look at Yishun, North Park Residences. This was the launch in the 1st January 2015 until today. A lot of people say, Kelvin, if I buy so expensive, 1,003 plus, next time can it go up or not? You see, today they sold at average 1,007. Just like I mentioned, right? They sold at 1,009, right? This is called average price they already sold here. But if you look at those people who bought 9 residences, 1,002, cheaper, but you see the price never go up much. If you look at here, Sky Metonia, How much has it gone up? But this guy who bought a more expensive property, but the price appreciation is higher. People will eventually still buy new one because why? Because they want something that is what? New. And they want convenience. And in fact, North Park Residences is an integrated transport hub. That's why people will still want to buy what? Convenience as well. They want to buy location. They want to buy easy transportation. That's why they don't mind to pay $1,009 per square foot. Why? Because they want the children to be convenient, safe. That's why people are willing to pay. That's how it works, right? So if you look at this, again, new sales volume. Just now I showed you just now was resale, right? You see, again, every time, including the new sales, when the volume is low, what happened? You see the price? You see the price? You see the price? You see the price? Now again, the volume is low. Last year, 6,000 only. Average, I can tell you is about 10 to 11,000 transactions every year. Average for the last 10 years. But today, last year was only 6,850 units sold. This year, we are expecting about 8 to 9,000. Why is it so? Again, every time when the market is not stable, people will say it is not the right time to what? To buy property. But that is also the time that you must open your eyes to see things. Like I mentioned, resale owner, 1 unit. Developer, multiple properties. So this is why there is a window of opportunity for you to really think about it. And of course, if you look at the unsold supply, it's only 16,000. Just like I mentioned, right? Property is all about supply and demand. Up or down is all about supply demand. If you look at this, developer have 36,000 units. That's why those people who enter here. Why? Because a lot of developers at that point of time cannot sell well. Because why? Because of the cooling measure, because of the interest rate in 2019. But those people who enter at that point of time, what happened? They all make good profit. But luckily this year, now only got 16,000. By right, the price should be high one. By right, the developer should increase the price to sell. But why is it the developer are not increasing price to sell today? Because of the cooling measure interest rate. If without this, my friend, if without cooling measure interest rate, Singapore property will go even higher. That's the reason why government must come out cooling measure to stop all this. If not, the price will continue to what? Go higher. But because of this, it also allows an opportunity for many people out there. Just that you need to understand how to look at the right entry price, right? That's why you look at it. How can the price come down? One of the reasons here is look at the District 15. This was Tiam Siu. This one was already launched, right? The land cost is 1,488 per square foot. You look at recently, Mayor Park, so nearby, their land cost, the land cost they bought is 1,668. Just only barely 1 year from the last Tiam Siu until today, right? The price gap is already $200 over per square foot for the land cost. Can you imagine the land cost, the gap is $200 over just only 1 year. So how can the prices actually come down? Very difficult. Not because it cannot, because of the land cost. As a result, prices are what? Are still holding eventually. That's the main key. If you look at this, Tampines Court, that was 2017. Now, 2022, Lakeside Apartment. Look at their land cost. Look at today, the land cost. That's why you have to accept, look at their selling price break even, and now the new selling price break even is how much? No choice that the cost of the land will become more expensive. And that's the reason why today, because of this cooling measure, you still have the chance to enter at the right price and wait for the opportunity in the next 2 years. 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, you'll be happy to tell me that, Kelvin, you have made money. I can only say that because I really see an opportunities in today's market. Just that you need to know what is the best one for you to look into. And because of the construction cost, you just look at it. 2016, right? The cement cost is only $82. Today is $118. Look at the bar. 493, today is 91% increase. You look at the concrete. That's why developer cannot sell lower. Because why? Because construction costs increase, land costs increase. But luckily we have cooling measure. If not, I tell you, the developer will increase price to sell, man. So that's why you need to think carefully, right? Opportunity in the market. So the last thing that I want to talk about here before I really go into the other part here is what? Interest rate. So interest rate drop, what will it actually impact? As you know that, right, for those people who are putting money in the fixed deposit, you also know that the fixed deposit interest rate are dropping from 4% now to 3% if you were to find out. And if you look at the fixed rate for buying property, from 4% today has dropped to 3% already. Why? Because they know one thing, they are all factoring the interest rate will drop. And if you look at the Fed, he has been talking about this, right? The last one was already so-called, they are signaling a pause. That's why the last round they came in was 0.25, but everybody already factored in that this is the way. But Singapore market is always tagged to the US market. That's the good news here. But when the interest rate, can the interest rate continue to go higher? Cannot, because why? When the interest rate continue to move forward, what will happen? The economy will not do well and everything will fall and job opportunity will be affected in a sense as well. So but why is it interest rate goes up? Mainly to curb the inflation. And now the successful part that we are seeing inflation dropping. And that's the reason why we are seeing the interest rate eventually will come down next year. So the question is, when interest rate drop, what will happen next? This is talking about Singapore market now. This is a Singapore market now. You look at here, when interest rate drop, people will say, Kelvin, put money in the bank is waste time because the bank only give me 0.2% interest rate. So everybody will put money into the asset because why? They want to hedge against what? They want to hedge against inflation. That's why you see, when there is a demand, what happened? Price move forward. Look at 2019, interest rate was high over here. People will say, don't buy. But you see, people who choose to buy here, when the interest rate fall, that create what? Demand again. When there's a demand, prices move upward. You see that? So when the interest rate fall, what will happen? You should be here to sell, not buy. But because today the interest rate was high, that's why the demand is not strong. When the demand is not strong, prices won't go up. That is exactly what I'm trying to tell you here, right? So that's why there is a window of a what? An opportunity for you to take a look in a sense. So that's why I want to tell everybody one thing. So if you want to look at property, you have to see what is your objective. If you really want to buy something for own stay, please go and buy something that is resale market because you need a place to stay. But you just need to know how to determine the right pricing, like just I mentioned to you, right? You can ask the agent to show you how the prices. But if you really want to have some profit, you are really looking at profit margin, then I would really think that you should really take advantage of the market where the developer has the most stock, where the prices are much more lower. This is a window. And I can tell you, most of the developer will never sell out their property today. And that is a good news. When they don't sell out, eventually they will sell out. When eventually they sell out, their prices will go higher. Very simple. I want to ask every one of you to think. Every one of you, please think. If today you are the developer, if you have 200 units, I'm very sure the first 30 units, you will tend to price it at a reasonable price. When you left with 30 unit balance, you left with only 30 units balance after selling 170 units. Do you think that you want to reduce the price to sell or will you want to increase the price to sell? You have to think. Same thing. Developer is just like a buyer. Developer is just like a seller. When there is no much more supply, I will increase the price. When I have more supply, I will tend to lower down my price. So that is the reason why there is an opportunity in today's market. It's only how you see this information to help you to make a better what? Decision. And that's the reason why I want to share with you here two very important aspects. which is how do we determine the right and safe entry price. After determining the safe entry price, you need to know how to determine the exit as well, right? So how do we look at entry price now? Let's take a look at this example here, case study. We take a look at these reserve residences as a case study. This is really an integrated transport hub. What do I mean by integrated transport hub? This is even better than just an integrated development. Integrated transport hub means it comes with aircon, bus interchange, MRT stations, shopping mall, direct link to all the different assets with condominiums, retail mall, everything in one thing, just like the North Park residences. These are all the integrated development. So the question, if buying at $2,300 over dollars, their starting price is $2,300, which is very reasonable. Why do I say so? I will show you, right? So the question is it a safe entry? Let's do a example to do so. It's not necessary you must buy reserve, no. But I want you to understand the logic behind how you determine whether is it a safe bet. You can use the way that I see things, right, to go and buy other things. Up to you. But most important, you must know how to determine the what? The right entry and the safe bet entry properties out there. I just want you to know one thing. Integrated development is only in the whole of Singapore. That is only this amount, which is 4,000 units, which is barely slightly above 1% of the completed unit. That means that if you want to buy really integrated transport hub, right, it's very, very, very rare. In fact, for RCR, this is the first development that is integrated transport hub, because integrated transport hub, you need to encompass many things inside. That's why it's not easy to find a big piece of land that is done in this way. That's why it's very rare in the market. Now, I want to ask everybody a question. Will you pay a higher per square foot more for integrated transport hub project for the convenience of your family when it comes to buying a resale property? Can I ask every one of you? Because why? A lot of customers don't mind to pay more money. Because why? Because they want the convenience of the children. They want the easy access when go home. Because why? All the parents today are working, they don't have the time, And if you talk about Grab, you need to pay taxi fare, you pay everything, right? Just like my daughters have to, sometimes have to give the Grab fare for them to come in because walking distance in, right? But buying an integrated development actually is directly MRT link, bus interchange. They don't even get wet, no need to even bring umbrella. So as a parent, will I do so? Actually, yes, right? That's the reason why it's very important, right, to look at this. Oh, Dexter said maybe noisy. Actually, the good news here is that the MRT underground, so you won't feel any noise as well. That is the good news here. You look at North Park residences, look at North Park. Actually, the people actually buy more. In fact, it was actually TOP in, so-called they started to launch, was in the year of 2015. And today, their prices they sold is this kind of price. That's usually $1,900 per square foot. Really $1,900. Next, look at 9 residences, mixed development. Mixed D, you look at their price, 1,002, 1,003. This was in the year of 2013 when they launched. That means 9 resident, the 99-year leasehold start from where? Start from 2013. This one start from 2015. Just actually 2 years different. But look at the price difference. This is a normal development, S3, which is just opposite Khatib MRT station. This was 2008. You look at the price. What am I trying to show you here is that, right, integrated development, people don't mind to pay more because of the convenience, because of easy access. That's why a lot of people say, if I buy if I choose to buy something that is non-integrated, I buy cheaper. But will I be able to sell a higher price? But people who pay more for integrated development, eventually did they manage to sell high? Actually, yes. Why? Because they want the convenience for the family members. This is also very true. Next, if you look at the track record, even for Helion residences, this is also an integrated transport hub, right? This is just opposite one another, Tannery and Helion. And Tannery is just a mixed development. Usually 2010 and 2013. You look at the price, 1718. You see the price? So people really don't mind to pay at that kind of price tag one. So that's why I want you to know one thing. this is how you see whether people will want to consider or not, even for ITH, right? So of course, the question time is, if given a choice for you to own an ITH condo versus a normal condo without paying a premium, which one will you buy? ITH or non-ITH? Can I ask every one of you here? Thank you so much for replying me. Of course, more people, if given a choice, definitely I would like to buy something that is ITH. No need to think, right? Actually, I asked a stupid question, but sometimes I still need to ask, right? For the convenience of everybody to think yes or no. So let's say, right, if you look at today, right, the OCR price is how much? Today, average OCR price has already done about 2001 per square foot. Today, RCR, right, on average has already done 2006 per square foot, 2005 lah, around there, 2005 lah. If you look at today, CCR on average is about 2009 plus per square foot. And average price has done in all the RCR zone is already at $2,500 over per square foot. If I tell you the resale market today for RCR, resale market at RCR resale has actually done at about 2002 per square foot to even 2003 per square foot. Resale has done this price. If today I tell you this is a ITH and they are selling at about 2003 and above per square foot from, is this something that you can consider? Why do I say so? Because you are buying below what average people already have paid for a normal condo, which is at least 2005 plus. In the resale market today, also people pay 2002 to 2003 per square foot. Today, you are buying ITH at 2003 plus per square foot, even 2004 per square foot. Is it something that is safe enough for you to look at? If I today ask you to buy here, 2008, maybe you will think twice. I do not know, right? But if you are buying at 24, 25 per square foot, at least you are buying what people already has done before in terms of pricing, right? And look at Mayfair Modern. People already pay for sub-sale. That means they buy someone who bought at that time, they sold it to somebody at around 2004, 2003 already done, which is very nearby to this development, and it's just a normal condo. If you look at another development, Seaside Residence, which is on the east side, which is also a normal condo, you look at the price, 21, 22, 25 also have done before. These are resale, right? If you look at Sterling, also resale, which is RCR, 2002, 2003. Has it been done? Done. You look at the new sales today, Blossom by the Bar. This is just a normal condo. Average is 25, 24, 23, 24, 25. People already pay a normal condo at that kind of price range, 23, 24, 25 per square foot. 26, you see, 26 also people buy already, right? These are normal one, right? If you look at Live at MB, same thing, 24, 25, 26 also done. 29 also got people buy. Tembusu, same thing, 24, 25, 26 also got people buy. These are the new sales. You look at the new sales, already people done this. And these are all just a normal condo. But today you can buy something at an ITH condo without paying a premium out of it. You have the flexibility of it. You have the facility of it. You have everything in it without paying premium. So is it something safe to enter? That is for you to look in. And if you look at all the new launches in the RCR today, it has done from 2004 all the way to $3,000 per square foot. At least I want to tell you here, I cannot tell you whether you buy this development will make profit or not. But at least I want to tell you one thing, that you are buying something that people already has paid. Resale market has paid, new launch market people has paid, and they are not ITH. They are just normal condo. Can you imagine today you are buying an ITH condo? At the premium? No. At the lower premium some more. And the average price people already done before. Is this something safe for you to enter? And if you look at this, that's what I want to show you the proof, right? You look at this, the resale average is already 25 something per square foot for RCR. So is it something that is on a high risk? That is for you to understand. And if you look at the benchmark price here, right? This is what you look at it here. So the next thing that we are looking at is what? Just now we talked about entry, right? So the next question is to ask yourself, we talk so much about entry. Now we are talking, because remember, when we buy something, we need to look at, can we sell off easily? So how do we look at exit? The good news here is what? just purely based on reserve alone, right? There is still so many residential plot that has not been launched by the government yet. With the latest plot of land that is going to be sold in the reserve, it will set a certain benchmark price over here, which means that this will be at least you set a price, right? Next time the government has no choice, right? But have to base on what has been sold. They cannot sell way below market price, right? But of course, there'll be a bit different because this is a ITH. But at least there is a support base over here as well. That's something that you need to look at. And just to let you know, all these upcoming RCR new launches, right, is no ITH. But their price must be all above 2,004 per square foot. Have to be around that range because why? Their land cost they bought already at that price. So it actually provides a stable baseline. Even for a normal condo out there, their baseline price is around 2004, 2005. You are buying an integrated development which is at the baseline price of most of the RCR development. So is it something stable and safe enough? That is for you to think about it. And the most important here is what? When the project's actually TOP, which is in 2028, this is one thing good, right? It's 2028, right? That the number of units that's going to TOP, that means you're ready to collect key and pass it to somebody to rent it out or whatever, was very little compared to this year, 19,000. There is no competition in terms of rental. To sell, there's also not many competitors. And the best thing is that this is an integrated transport hub. Again, just now we say, right, it's only 1.24% in the whole of Singapore. And RCR is the only development that is integrated transport hub. So it creates what? It creates no supply to actually compete with you. That's the reason why today, because of cooling measure interest rate, right? That's why this developer no choice but to sell this kind of price tag, right? So is it safe? And if you look at the price gap between OCR and RCR, right? The price gap is become narrow and narrow. And you look at the resale of RCR, right? New sales average is already 2,006. So is this something stable? That's for you to see. So that's why if you look at, can I exit easily? If you buy something 2003, 2004, 2005, is it possible to exit? Possible. Why? Because a lot of development already have done 2,006 per square foot. Average already. If you are buying almost like 2001, you see 2001 and 2003 range or to even 2004. Even for OCR, if you go and ask your agents here, there are OCR price around 2002, 2003 has also been done. Done deal, 2000, 2003 has been done. We are talking about integrated transport hub in RCR is also, actually you see the gap between OCR and RCR, the gap is so narrow. Isn't it very safe for you to enter? That's for you to decide. That's why I find that this development, integrated transport hub at RCR is really rare and only one. And the best thing is what? Near to MRT with good schools some more. 1 kilometer to the two very, very good school here. And most of the parents want. You see, which is near to all the good school, is near to the MRT, near to eatery. Everything is so convenient. I can tell you this development, you will easily be able to sell to anybody or even to rent to anybody easily. And it's a strong rental demand from this development as well because it's ITH. Right, for those people here who really wants to understand more about it, if you are in the TikTok, right, join me in this Ing channel. You probably will hear me even more in terms of all my sharing about real estate market. For those people who have not joined me as well, right? So of course, thank you so much for listening to me. In fact, the next speaker here, which actually is Sergius. Sergius, are you there? Probably Sergius can actually give you a quick update about the market in the